Hi, I'm Michelle G with Pickles and Posies. Thank you for stopping by my channel. This video, I'm going to show you how I made this Harry Potter fan art tray. I downloaded and printed this from Etsy. These assorted charms were from Amazon, and I set everything in resin. But this, I also refinished this tray and sealed it. I'm going to show you how I did everything. So I'm gonna try something new, and I'm not gonna do a voiceover, but it's not super quiet where I am, so hopefully this goes well. So first, I'm gonna start with my wooden tray. I did get these off of Amazon. There's a link in the description. And it comes nicely sanded, and it actually comes in a set of 5 that nest together, which is kind of cool. And it's only $18.99 for the whole set. And I'm gonna start with my Valspar antiquing wax. Now this is old and it has been sitting in my garage for maybe 4 years. I opened it and it seems fine. I gave it a good stir. See, it's nice and brown, but it's gonna go on kind of like a stain. I'm gonna paint it on, and then I'm gonna wipe it off. Okay, so here we go. We're just gonna paint it on. I'm just using a regular paintbrush. It's not really that new, but I'm not really concerned about getting an even coat because I do want it to have that antique-y look. So if it's got a little more in some spots, that's fine with me. And I'm probably gonna go a little heavy around the edges, but I am gonna add epoxy into this, so it's not gonna matter too much. You don't really have to worry about the brush strokes. I'm just OCD, so. And it makes a nice for a nice video. I'm gonna speed it up now. Okay, now it says to set it for 2 minutes and then we'll come back and wipe it off. So this is just one of my kids' old t-shirts. It was stained, too small, doesn't fit. I'm just gonna wipe it off just like you would a stain. Now it's time to do the sides. this dry for about 4 hours. Okay, so now I'm going to seal this because it's still pretty porous. It's raw wood. I'm going to use polyacrylic. This is a water-based protective finish. You want to make sure you use a water-based product under anything you're going to resin or epoxy. Oil-based products, the epoxy won't stick to. So we're going to use this Minwax. And I'm just going to use a paintbrush to apply it. I printed this off from Etsy. I did cut it out by hand. Even this little slit here. My laminating machine is heating up and I have my lamination sheet ready to go. So basically this opens, this goes inside. And then I just feed it through my machine when it's ready. This is an older machine. I got it off Amazon for like 17 bucks a few years ago. This indicates it's ready. So we're just going to put this in. Okay, so here is our laminated piece. I'm actually just going to trim it up around the edges, and any edges will just disappear in my clear resin. So I'm just going to trim this up. I am going to leave a very little bit around the edge because if I trim right up to this, it'll expose the paper and the resin can get in when I pour it. But it doesn't have to be perfect because these edges are going to disappear within your resin, so it's not going to be an issue. So just trim it up a little bit. Okay. So now it's time for the good stuff. I attached this to my tray using Scotch Super 77. I think I picked this up at Michael's. You can probably get it anywhere, even Home Depot or Lowe's possibly. It's super sticky, so I recommend you spray it outside and don't stick your entire garage together like I did once. Now for the good stuff. I have about 130 milliliters of 1-to-1 resin. I'm going to be using these two mica powders. This is from Black Diamond Pigments, Mahogany and Hazelnut. And I'm also going to be using Pinata Rich Gold Alcohol Ink and my heat gun. But I have to concentrate, so I'm going to add in some music now. So it's cured for a couple days. I'm ready to move on to the next step. I love how it turned out. It looks a little aged. You can see how that gold separated. It did pool in the corners a little bit more than I'd like, but I'm not hating it. So let me tell you about these charms. Okay, so I got all of these charms. Most of them were on bracelets, and I disassembled them. This was on a necklace. This was on a necklace as well. I don't have the tools to take off the little eyes, but that'll have to be what it'll have to be. So I just take off these jump rings. So I have all of the major ones pretty much placed where I want them. And I just have to remove the hardware from these keychains. These were keychains. And I'm gonna save this hardware for later. I'll make something keychain out of it. I'll do one more. Oopsies. Okay, I'm gonna finish up the rest of these, and when I come back, we're gonna glue them down. Okay, so the next step is to secure some of this down. Some of these things will roll, and I want them to stay where I want them to stay. And I also don't want anything to float up with the resin. So for that, I'm just gonna use a regular glue gun. Make sure it's clear glue. And it's very easy. You're just gonna make a little pile. And push your item down. Like this wand here, it's got a couple of different sides, so I wanna make sure it stays upright. Now, this glue will disappear in the resin. So this is merely just kind of tacking this down. So when I add my resin, my epoxy, it won't float away, it won't come up, it won't spin. Same with this guy. Let's see, this little snake gives me problems. And these wands and the edges, that one too, actually, before I get to the wands and the edges. So that way it stays just like that. When I pour my resin, it doesn't turn or float anywhere. These flat pieces should be fine because I'm not going too far above them. I don't anticipate them floating up. They're heavy. But these wands are roly-poly. So I'm gonna take care of that. Okay, I'm gonna glue the rest of these, and when I come back, we'll be ready to pour down our epoxy. This is a 1.5 cups of 1:1 resin. Same stuff I used before. Yes, it's got bubbles. That's gonna be fine. So now we just pour. Pouring from up high does reduce bubbles. I'm not going to be bubble free. I'm still going to need to use my heat tool, but it does help. Okay, I'm probably gonna have to do another layer just to make sure everybody's covered. I don't want anything sticking up. Okay. So I'm just scrape my container here, make sure I get every last drop out. I'm definitely going to need a second coat to cover, make sure everything is covered. Like our little deer's nose is still sticking out. Some of the handles. Making sure we're in the... Okay. So this will need one more layer of clear. But for now, we're gonna let this cure for about 6 hours. And then we'll come back and do the final layer. Okay, so
I am back with another cup and a half of 1-to-1 resin. It's a little chilly here and I didn't warm my resin, so I got some bubbles, but I'm not super worried about it because it's going down in a thin layer, and I'm going to use my heat gun to get rid of any bubbles that come up. So you can see some of these are going to be above the resin line. Everything that's here in the bordering, possibly this, I think this is going to get covered. This is going to stick out a little too much. Not super happy about that, but also don't really have a choice at this point. So here we go. Use my awesome new stirring spatula to spread this. Not much spreading needed, just a little help getting into the corners. Ooh, there's a piece of green glitter in there. Come back to that. Pushing it into the corners. It will self-level and settle where it needs to, but for now I just want to make sure it really gets into the corners and the sides and covers everything. I'm going to hit this with my heat gun. This is a little bit lower heat than the other big tool, so I like it a little more for jobs like this. I see the little sort of divot hole right there. I'm just going to try to fill that in. Same over here. So yeah, I was correct. This got completely covered. So everything will be flat except for these wands along the edges. Some of them are completely covered. Well, this one is. And this piece here. So, yeah, I'm pretty happy with this. And it'll be completely functional. I love it. So for now, I am going to cover it so it doesn't get any dust or debris or any more glitter in there, because I'm about to work with some glitter. And in about 5 minutes, I'm going to come back and hit it with the heat tool again. I probably won't show that, or it'll look just like before. That'll get out any remaining bubbles. And then let it cure for overnight. It'll actually be fine in about 6 hours. And I'll come back and show you when it's completely done.
it is all done. It is fully cured. I love it. This is covered, everything is covered and trapped in there, except for this and this wand here. But I'm very happy with how it came out. What do you guys think? Thank you for watching. If you liked what you saw, please click the thumbs up sign down below and subscribe to my channel for more like it. And as always, down below I have links to all the supplies I used in this video to make this item. Thanks for watching.